Hey guys, Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe, like, do all that jazz. If you guys could, also the WQAM channel, check that on out. I'll put the link in the description. Tobin and Leroy, we stream live every single day, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You guys can check us out there or get our clips there as well. We'll put a few up a day, some on demand if you want us bite-sized. And then also Hockman and Crowder, guys who come up after us, they're putting clips up now. I think they'll be streaming live soon. Joe Rose should as well, I imagine, sometime in the near future. But great to see everybody at the station getting involved there and hopping aboard. We have built, I'm happy with everything we've built over there, and all that support really started over here. So thank you so much to everybody there. It means a lot to me. Anyway, I want to get into this. So Jimmy Butler doing a little bit of media, which is cool. Jimmy Butler doesn't do a ton of media, but he was done a couple of interviews to promote this upcoming Michelob Ultra Super Bowl commercial. You guys remember last year, Jimmy Butler was in the star-studded Michelob, one of everybody's favorite commercials, with Serena Williams, Peyton Manning, everybody at the bowling alley. And now they're doing a redo with Caddyshack with dude from Succession, Canelo, Serena's in this one as well, a lot of other stars. So Jimmy's in that, and he's doing, I guess, a little bit of media on it, doing some promo for the fine folks at Michelob Ultra, all right? And so, most of these aren't the most in-depth interviews in the world. Probably seems like they got like 5 minutes with him, if I had to guess, via Zoom. But I got to tell you, one of the quotes in here gave me the goosies, dude. I'm not going to lie. And it was a question on Uproxx to the interview. Jackson Frank was the author of that, so shout out to Jackson for his work. But he had a question for Jimmy, and he was talking about a couple of guys that are key to success for you are Bam and Tyler, Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro. What impressed you about the way that Bam and Tyler have made strides in their game since you have joined the Heat? And this is what Jimmy had to say. He said, honestly, I see a lot of myself when you talk about the career path and trajectory of everything. They figured it out. They realize that they belong in this league. They're constantly proving that they belong in this league. And not only that, they've gotten better every single year, and they're going to continue to get better every single year. And before you know it, we're all going to end up winning a championship together because I don't plan on going anywhere. Tyler doesn't plan on going anywhere, and Bam doesn't plan on going anywhere. So we're going to have to figure it out. Goosies. I love that, dude. I love the fact that Jimmy is out there. Listen, not the first time that Jimmy Butler just proclaims championship out of nowhere. I love the fact that he does that. I love the fact that Jimmy Butler always has that on mind, that it's always the goal for the team, not to just, sit idly at, being okay with where they're at. And look, they've dealt with some adversity this year. They've dealt with the idea of him being out. They've dealt with other injuries along the way. They've dealt with having to bring up a bunch of guys from the G League and kind of patchwork their way to this point where they're at a season best point of their record right now, which is really great to see. This is been a time where I think it's been a year, I think, filled with a lot of angst for Heat fans. And I think it's for a few reasons. One, nobody was happy that they did run it back. That they did just bring back the same roster because they did that after the bubble and it didn't go so hot for them. The other thing is, they've been in a lot of clutch games. You're talking about, I think 35 of their games this year have been considered clutch games. So that's what, 2/3 of their season has been clutch games this year. That's a lot of angst, dude. And it's a very close record. It's like 5 games. It's like where they're at, 5 games over. There haven't been a lot of blowouts. I think we can count them on 2 fingers, basically, this year of games you have felt at ease with the Miami. Both ways. Not a lot of blowout losses, not a lot of blowout wins. And certainly not the sexiest. They grind it out. They defend their asses off. But I think, certainly the big question of this, amongst these guys, let's just talk about these in particular. Let's not talk trades for a minute. Let's not talk Lowry for a second. This is your core. This is the core. This is Jimmy, Bam, Tyler. This is their team. Jimmy's number 1, Bam's number 2, Tyler's number 3. That is the crescendo. That is the order. That is where everybody is at. And I think that we know Jimmy is bar none one of the best playoff players in the league. I think you could argue amongst the lot of them that Jimmy Butler is a top 5 NBA player once the playoff comes around. People will say, oh, he's 15, he's 16, he's 20 in the regular season. Playoff Jimmy, we all know, is like a different animal. This dude is a monster when the nuts are on the line and is one of the best, bar none. Bam, we have seen Bam Adebayo have great success in the playoffs, whether that be in 2020 against the Celtics where he dominated them, a block for all time, got injured in the finals, sucked. The next year where he's starting to grow his game a little bit, certainly the Bucks froze him out and dared him to shoot, and that didn't go so hot for him. The next year was another interesting one because he had a lot of ups and downs, I think, in the playoffs, offensively, mostly. Defensively, he was a monster and, had his waves where, like, when Joel was out, he dominated series. When Joel was in there, it was mostly relied upon other guys to get the job done offensively because he had such a load defensively. But he did have a couple of games in the Eastern Conference Finals. You're like, wow, this guy, especially when Jimmy got hurt in Game 3, he took over that game and was right there with him in Game 7. They just didn't have any other firepower around them. I really believe in Bam as a playoff player. I think that, guys who can defend like he can defend, who can score in the paint like he can score, I think that's going to carry over, especially with his improvement in free throws, getting to the line, his free throw percentage, all of that. Tyler's the big wild card in all of this. I mean, you think about all of the guys that they have flirted with, all of the so-called orcas that they have flirted with. It is because you have been looking for that go-to scorer who can score in the playoffs. And, Tyler is a mystery right now. He had a couple of moments in 2020 in the finals run with the snarl, the 37 in the Eastern Conference Finals. But, with last year, and he even talked this to us at Media Day where he's like, I was just in the mud. I couldn't figure it out. And knowing that teams are blitzing him and throwing doubles at him and being physical with him and all that stuff to try and get him out of his game, and seemed like it really messed with him. Then on top of that, he wasn't all the way healthy. The other wild card to that, though, is he just turned 23 years old 2 weeks ago, and he's super young, and there still has to be a lot of growth there. And the question is, for Miami, the big question is, can this guy take a postseason leap this year to be reliable in series, in key situations? We know the kid, as John Calipari says, has giant elephant balls and, will never be fearful of taking those shots and those moments. We know this is seeing him throughout his Heat tenure, but there certainly needs to be some questions answered this year. They gave him the extension. They did reward him with his great play last year as a sixth man. Now he's in the starting lineup and getting everything he wants there. He had a tremendous December. He did not have a fantastic shooting January. So, that roller coaster of up and down, it's like, okay, well, where's the bounce back? Is he going to be healthy all the way through the rest of the year? Is there going to be one of those nagging ankle injuries that comes up at one point that maybe hinders him and keeps him from staying in the steady flow? I don't know. But that's the interesting question. Tyler doesn't plan on going anywhere is Jimmy's quote. But I think that if the Heat do fall short, I don't know that it's, I don't know that Bam's going to show up, but I think that he will. I think that we always believe Jimmy's going to show up. The question is on Tyler. And I think that, he knows that too, that come playoff time, he's got to show up in a big, big way to show that, he can be that piece, that they don't have to flirt anymore with, the Spidas, the Dame Lillards, the Bradley Beals, any of these guys, that he can be that guy. And it's a lot to ask because he is 23, but this is also the same guy who we know talks a big game, who is super confident, who has wanted to put himself in the class of Trae Young, Luka Doncic. We got to see him be more Luka than Trae in the playoffs. I guess Trae a couple of years ago did get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but we also saw what the Heat did to Trae last year. He's got to find a way to not let teams to do that to him. But it was great to hear Jimmy. I always appreciate that, Jimmy will back his guys and will throw the support behind his guys, no matter who they are. Because he's always like the MO of him coming in here was he's not a great teammate, but he always is the guy that wants to that wants to see his guys flourish and things like that. He also had an interesting thing to say with ESPN, and that he is pissed at ESPN for taking off his dreads photo from Media Day, where he had this gorgeous hair all summer, comes back with it, take a Media Day photo. That's supposed to be what they use for NBA media the rest of the year. And I guess ESPN has changed it to his more conventional, short-haired look. And Jimmy Butler is not pleased. He says, quote, this was to USA Today's, what the hell is the author's name? So I can for Brian Kalbrowski. And he said of ESPN doing that, I don't think it's right. I think I should be able to wear my hair however I want to wear my hair. You're supposed to be using my Media Day picture. Put it back the way that it was because I love that hairdo on me. I'm going to change it because when I come back after the All-Star break, I'm going to have dreads and everybody's going to have to use that picture again. And I love that. Dude, use Jimmy Butler's picture. Enough of the nonsense trying to skate your way around with loopholes in old pictures. Put it back, ESPN.